Welcome back to Angels and Bob's Factorio, and it's time to figure out infinite ores, or rather infinite givelites, here. And we've looked at this before, and we also have to look at infinite saphirite. Let's look at givelite first. So if I hover over, you see at the bottom right, it tells me exactly what's underneath this square. But if I move over here, you'll see it requires 1 hydrofluoric acid per mining operation. So if you put down our mine, you'll see here it requires hydrofluoric acid, which is why this crazy layout is here. This is the only spaces that don't have infinite ores on them. Maybe there's one over here as well, but yeah, we need to actually fill this in properly and maybe get some hydrofluoric acid in and some more givelite out and figure that out. And on the other hand, over here at the saphirite, you'll see the center section is again the infinite ores, but it requires sulfuric acid per mining operation. So we've got to supply both of those to our mining outpost in order to continue to get resources. So let's look at the first one, shall we? In fact, let's look at hydrofluoric first. Okay, this one isn't terribly hard to make if I remember correctly. So I don't think I can do that one because I don't have this technology. I don't think can I research this? What options do we have for sulfur? Because some are invalid. Sulfur processing 2. So I can do, yes, I could research it if I wanted to. So we can go through silicon, or we can synthesize it using fluorite ore. Okay, so let's just look through that. Fluorite ore and sulfuric acid, which we already have to produce anyway, gets us hydrofluoric acid and some calcium sulfate. So what does fluorite ore take? It gets produced by fluoric wastewater and gives us back mineralized water and some purified water. So let's step back down. Is there any other way to make this? I guess there is, but just with lots of different things. We could make it with mineral sludge. We've done that before, but we can't. I don't think slag processing 2. Is that one of the ones we can? Yes, so we could research that one as well. But what do we need for fluoric waste water? Okay, so now we're getting to something a little bit better. We can use crushed givelite and purified water, and we're going to get some givelite chunks and some purple geodes, but more importantly, 50 fluoric waste water every 2 seconds. Stepping back up, this uses 100 every 1 second, so we're going to need 4 batches of that previous stage. So we're going to need 4 hydrorefining, so flotation cells, 4 of them. And we're going to have some stuff we can't really use just yet, so we're going to have to warehouse those if we go this route. But we should be able to get crushed givelite out of this existing thing up here. So we can produce this with just some purified water. And purified water is just steam in a cooling tower. And we've got a lake up here. So it makes sense at least to try to produce it this way. So heading back out to fluoric waste water, that gets fluorite ore, which means we have to figure out how to make sulfuric acid, because then we need sulfuric acid for both mines up here. Okay, that's just a conversion recipe. We can ignore that. We can make it from sulfur dioxide gas and again purified water, so we can step back through that, back through to lead and oxygen. We don't have those up here. We could send them up here. Sulfur and oxygen gas, we could do that. Again, we'd have to make the oxygen with electrolysis, and we'd have to get sulfur, but we could send sulfur up here. So that's one option. And is that just the next recipe? Oh, this is a recipe I can't do. That isn't actually possible. That's an invalid recipe. So the only one we can get is using 1 sulfur and 50 oxygen. And there's lots of others with ores we don't have or make it hard to deal with. The other option that we can do as well is not just the sulfur dioxide gas. If we step back up, we can just, in fact, not that one. We want to step forward to sulfuric. Let me just go back to that sulfuric acid. Okay, so we can just barrel it. So wherever we have barrels, it's in here somewhere. In fact, hang on. If I want to make the barrels, if I have sulfuric acid and barrels, which are just steel plate, I can barrel them. And that means I could just put it in one of these cars on the train. Or one of the wagons, depending on what you want to call them. So we can either make sulfuric acid down there, or we could try and make it appear. I think I'm going to start out by trying to make it appear, and if we have extra down there, why don't we barrel it up as well, and we can add that to one of the train cars, or extend the train, if we like, just to have an extra car available whenever we like. All right, so let's get started. Let me assemble some stuff, and we'll build up a setup. Okay, to start this off, let's start up our typical chain of getting steam. So we can start with an offshore pump. We can just send this over here for a second, and now we should have an electric boiler rather than using coal-based ones. Because I don't have coal up here, so let's just make sure I've got some. Yes, I do. So we should be able to boil that into steam. I think I'm going to put this above, so let's just... let's put them here like this and space them out. I'm not sure if I'm going to need these two, so I'm going to leave them alone for now. And why are you boiler mark 2? I thought I had electric boilers. Do I not? That's going to be a problem if not. Electric boiler. Will you let me boil water into steam? Let's get rid of these for a second, and hopefully this will. If not, I'm going to have a problem. I'm going to need coal, and there's none up here. So if we can't do that, I'm probably going to barrel up the sulfuric acid. Let's just get to boilers. There we go. Boil. Okay. And I would assume that you can just put them in like this, put some power, and they will produce steam. They are producing steam. Oh, good. I didn't want to have to send sulfuric acid up here. I may do that anyway, but I was hoping to do this setup first, which seems to work fine. So we've got steam, which means we just need some cooling towers now, which I've got a few of. And so let's just put them like here for now. And again, let's just connect everything up with pipes. There we go. And we're going to want purified water. And both of these are going to produce purified water, which we've got what we've got. Okay, so let's have a look at that again. Hydrofluoric acid needs, where are you? Fluorite. And fluoric wastewater is made from purified water and crushed givelite. So I'm going to need flotation cells. I already have brought some of those old ones that we're not using anymore at the moment because of where we're getting the iron from these days. So we're going to need to crush some givelite and put it through with purified water in flotation cells. All right, so let's set up those. Where are my flotation cells? There they are. Yep. So into those, we're going to have to take purified water. So I guess we can run it sort of along here. This, and yeah, let's see how this does. I may need to put a sort of pipe between each one, but we'll see. So let's first of all look for the recipe. That's the one. We should get fluoric wastewater out of that. And we'll also, of course, get givelite chunks out of it. So we're going to need to split this off like this. And now let's run it. Let's run our belt vertically, shall we? Yep, I had to make sure this matched. Just has to be done. Factorio is that kind of game. Very relaxing, but at the same time, you sort of have to build things to satisfy your own sense of building things correctly. So everything has to line up, symmetry, etc. All right, so then we can just insert this way as normal. We can speed these up later if that's any problems. And as usual, we're going to need some power, so that can go across here. Ooh, we got a gap due to a tree. Yeah, a rather obvious tree. And let's just make some more of the medium power poles rather than the large ones. And we can just separate things out like this. Okay. And so, oh, in fact, no, I forgot a step. Whoops. I'm going to need to cut this off around about here. And I'll recover that in a second. We need ore crushers first. We need to crush this down so that it isn't regular Givlite anymore. It's crushed, or the crushed version. And if we choose to crush Givlite, we'll have to get rid of these stones somehow. But again, that's quite similar. We can probably... Am I putting the stone anywhere up here? No, I think I'm just extracting just the ore. So we're going to need to deal with that. But it's the same way we normally deal with things anyway. At least normally deal with the stone anyway. And let's just send some power this way. Then we can do our usual trick of just filter inserting out of this and choosing crushed Givlite. Okay, and let's make another one of those. And just like before, we can get rid of the stone by inserting into something that will only take that recipe. So will it go into one of these again? I forget. No, it has to go into the assembly machine, doesn't it? So we need 2 of those. And we'll store just the stone recipe and then just store the stone somewhere. We don't really care all that much about it. In the meantime, we just need to send this way. Gather all this up. There we go. That should fix that problem, at least temporarily. And where's our assembly machines? Here we are, just as normal. 1, 2. I guess we could split these actually and just save some time. Well, not time, but save some space. Let's just grab that for a second. And put you there. Put the other ore crusher on the other side. And feed in this direction. Tell this one to make stone. And then let's just grab you and put our filter inserters back. And our power poles, and that should work. We just then need to make sure we insert only the stone into this one. Send that underground. We can send the output of this stone over this way into some sort of warehouse, whatever we actually can manage to put together. I don't have a warehouse at the moment, so I'm just going to make a steel chest temporarily. I will have to remember to fix that though. That's only a temporary fix. In fact, I'm going to just delete that for a second and make sure I place it with a proper belt, just so that I have an option to sort this out later before I have too many problems. And then I'll just put the belt, the box here. We'll replace that with a warehouse of some kind. Are you now the crushed version? It looks like you are. So we can feed that in, and this should start feeding in. It does. Okay, so we should be consuming purified water once I connect that up, which it will. And that should pass through just fine. So now we're going to get 2 things out of it. We're going to get the purple geodes, the Givlite chunks, and we're going to get fluoric wastewater. So with the fluoric wastewater, we can turn it into fluorite ore, and we need a Hydra plant for that. We'll get some purified water back out, which we can feed back around so that these don't actually you know, consume too much steam. And again, these may only kick on when they're needed to. So, do we have enough for a Hydra plant? Or two? Or more? No, I need iron pipe, which means a lot of iron. So I'm going to go and get some iron pipe and make a couple of Hydra plants, and then we'll carry on with the build. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but I changed the smelters to the wait condition to be 30 seconds or empty. So as soon as it empties everything out down there, even if it's not past enough time, it will come back up here. I'm not going to do the opposite up here saying, or if it's full, because I don't think it's ever going to get full. And yeah, we're going to get some problems otherwise with some later plans. So I'm just watching to make sure if this is empty or not, and then it'll get sent back up. Which is fine. It's much easier catching a ride in this train than it is actually walking all the way down here. And here we arrive. Right, time to go and get those Hydra plants. Ooh, just one more thing to mention. These. Yeah, I ran out of slag entirely. That warehouse that I have around somewhere, I can never remember where it is, right there, it ran out. So I've had to connect this one over here, and it's already down to 29k. So once we run out of slag for that, that stops this whole recipe from working. So we're going to have to maintain some sort of slag to make sure that this keeps going, or an alternate recipe. So we'll have to look at that at some point. I've still got 29k. It'll be fine for now, but it does get used up rather quickly. And as you can see, our iron is completely backlogged. Steel is completely backlogged. The only reason steel is still going is because I changed the offset on some of these inserters so it would insert on the other side of the belt as well, just so the belt is sort of keeping a larger capacity. I normally don't like doing that, but in this case, it's not terribly bad. Is that Hydra plant? Yeah, so let's just make a couple of those and make sure I collect more basic electronic boards, and all the robots are chasing me to give me everything I need. See you back up there. And I did just notice I've fed the output into the input into the next one. I hope that was a pass-through. It's not. I need to get the fluoric wastewater out of there. So we're going to have to take that out for a second and just rearrange this slightly. If I can put a box down and get rid of some inventory I don't need just yet. Let's get rid of you and let's say all of you, just so I can rearrange this. Okay, and then we'll just feed one direction or the other. Doesn't really much matter. Where is that? There we are. So we should probably feed them this way if I can fit the inserters in the correct. We're gonna need 3. Is this 5 tall? I hope it's 5 tall. Let's just put a couple down for a second. So we're gonna need room for the pipes. That's the main problem with this. Let's just select you. And we'll just run the pipes down this way. Doesn't really matter on this side. There we go. And can we fit, say, if we put them like this, then we can feed the output using the usual way we do this. And then we should have just about enough room for an input there. And we're going to need an output. So we're probably going to have to put the power poles a little bit oddly, but they should work. So let's just put a power pole there. There's a power pole, an inserter there. And we're going to pull the outputs back out this side. Like this. And then that should be okay. We just have to tell this to go and drop one space away. Then we're going to need probably the better power poles. So let's just make some of those. And then we'll put them... I may have to move these one further apart because of that. Or maybe it'll be okay. Let's see. No, that should be okay. I'll just have to run 2 parallel things. So one there, one here, and we'll just have to run it because it's going all the way around. We'll have to run one this side as well, maybe, along this kind of line. And we'll figure it out later. See, there they go. However, that's not working too well. Ooh, that's horrible. I guess we're going to... yeah, it'll be okay. Because if I just do this and put them on that side of the belt, I'll just use a solid belt and then we will just store them somewhere up here separately. In a couple of warehouses with a couple of filter inserters. And we'll just pull off this belt and insert them properly. And of course, we do then get fluoric waste water. So, what's the next step? From the fluoric waste water, we can get fluorite ore with the Hydra Plants. Good. So the Hydra Plants, have I already made them? I thought I already made them. Yeah, there they are. They're huge. And we can insert this direction, I would imagine. Slightly annoying. I guess I can send that belt somewhere else. Yeah, I'll send the belt somewhere else. Take down this tree. Just so I have more room if I need it. And I'm probably going to need to make another steel axe at some point soon. Here we are, and there are two warehouses. We can put one here and, for argument's sake, one here. Doesn't matter for the moment. Then we can use our filter inserters just to insert into them. There we go. So geodes. Let's put the purple one in that, and the chunks we can put in here. There we go. All right, so that should be that processing, and we should be able to just tile this down. There should be no problems with that. We just have to then feed this into our whoops, one more further away, and let's put the pipes in the right place, here and here. Feed in some power. And select what we want. We want, let's see, nitric wastewater, chloric wastewater, fluoric wastewater. Okay, so coming out of this, we're going to get the ore we want, and we're going to get that purified water that we can put back through the system. We'll have to take care of both of those outputs. I'm not going to need this, what's the actual recipe again? Let's just go to mineralized water. Is there anything I really want to do with mineralized water? Let's just go to that. Well, I'm going to water void it if I can't find any other reason. There really isn't any other compelling way, compelling thing. Green algae is a possibility, but for the moment, yeah, for the moment, let's just void it. So we just need a clarifier. Just the one will do. And then we will do our usual trick of this. And we just need to make sure that we have power. There we go. So that should get rid of this one. And then the other one, we can choose what we want to do with it. I guess for now, I think I'll just feed it back around. So if we just put it from U to U, whoops. Yeah, I need to go 2 out, sorry, not 1. There we go. And then 1 less. There we go. And finally, that should hook up. We need to get rid of that waste. What is this polluted? Yeah, it is polluted. Of course. Let's just get rid of all of that. Just so we get rid of the pollution in the pipes. And then just reconnect everything back up again. There we go. So that should be that taken care of. We do need to then make sure that this is emptied. So if it's too high, we need to also avoid that. So I'm going to need another one of these, the clarifiers. And we want valves. Overflow valve will do. Just get rid of this, and then we'll put another one in here as well. So if we're ever above a certain amount, I guess actually I'm going to need 2 valves, because this will kick on our boilers permanently if I don't watch out what I do with this valve. So first of all, we haven't really done this before, but just to explain, if I don't control this better than just clarifying the stuff, or voiding the stuff, if you want me to call it that, what's going to happen here, if I avoid it when it's over 80%, which is what the overflow valve does, it will do anything in this pipe network connected to it, which is going to start pulling from all of this, which is going to kick on these, which is going to kick on these, and yeah, it's a bit wasteful. So instead, let's put the clarifier in place, but let's make sure that going this direction is a one-way valve. So only if this part of the network is above 80% will it actually overflow, hopefully. And off it goes. So if this is, you'll see this is staying at 100%. This one is much, much less. So it's going to top up this system. Otherwise, it's going to void. And that's the output of this. Of course, then I will then need to take this ore out of here. So we need to deal with that somewhere. And that's okay. Where do we want to put this? This is the thing we're finally going to combine with sulfuric acid. Here it is. So fluorite ore with sulfuric acid. So for the moment, I guess we just belt it somewhere. Seems reasonable, and we can do that this direction, I guess. Ooh, I'm out of belt. I'm gonna need to go and get more of that. Let me just make a few. Don't have many materials left. There's no logistic network up here yet. So let's just put you down. And we'll put you in opposite offsets. Okay, so you get the idea. We're going to send this over here somewhere underneath this inserter and then off into where we're going to process. Because we're going to need sulfuric acid up here for over here. And we need hydrofluoric for up there somewhere. So having this nearby just means I need to process both of them together. Okay, so down here as the train arrives, I brought sulfur up from our processing plant that we've already got going. They're going to just go through boxes, and I need to stop these from actually working. Otherwise, they're going to unload the sulfur straight out of the train again. Let's just get rid of all that and get back in the train before it leaves. Okay, so we got sulfur in the first car. I've already disconnected the loading of the jivolite in the upper car from the other end. So from here, it's just going to get provided in this side. And then we're going to be able to combine that to get sulfuric acid. We need sulfur dioxide first, of course, which is, let's just grab you, sulfuric acid. Sulfur dioxide and purified water, we've already got that. Sulfur dioxide, we're going to need, oh, let me just get out. I'm not going to use that recipe. Sulfur and oxygen in a chemical plant, and oxygen we can get we're gonna get free slag out of that. That may be actually one way to get slag from the future to make sure that processing recipe happens. So pump a huge amount of water through it, and we should be able to get that and oxygen and hydrogen, of course. So we can also get it without the slag using an electrolyzer. Do I have an electrolyzer on me, or at least quickly available? I don't have one on me, I don't think. Nope, so let's make one. And we're going to get oxygen and hydrogen. We're going to want a flare stack if I've not got already one. I usually have one, but not in this case. And we're just going to get rid of all the hydrogen. Let me put some lights down, or at least one light down, so that you can see what we're looking at. Okay, so I'm going to need to put that into place. So we've got an electrolyzer. We also want a chemical plant. I've got one already there. So let's get this going. So we've got this system that's full from this point downwards, I guess. So I may actually, even though I probably want the sulfuric acid up there somewhere, I may want it down here just because this is where we've got this nice full pipe of purified water. So let's put it down here, shall we? And then I'll pipe it around. Sulfuric acid isn't too bad. Here's the unloading of the acid. I guess we should probably put it on the other side, but we can always pipe the purified water across. So is the electrolyzer done? Is it yeah, there it is. So let's face it downwards for this particular case and choose our recipe. We want the purified one. There we go. And we want the flare stack to just connect to this. That needs power. And then that should give us, oh no, hang on. Was that the that's the oxygen. I wanted I wanted to flare stack the hydrogen, please. Yeah, there you go. That will do. The oxygen we actually want. Okay, so we can then feed that out of here. And I need to feed this over here somewhere and set up a chemical plant. Let's set that chemical plant up first. We're probably going to produce a few of these, so we may as well think about where we're going to put this. The oxygen is going to come across here somewhere at the top, so I guess I'm going to put it here. Let's give this a go to start off. Let's imagine we've got enough space. What do we actually want? Sulfur dioxide. So that is sulfuric acid. Sulfur dioxide is sulfur and oxygen. And we'd feed it into this to get sulfuric acid. So I'm going to need two right next to each other, which means I'm going to need another chemical plant. But that, hopefully I have enough stuff on me. Yeah, I've got enough for one. We'll make that. And I'm going to need a few things for this. I'm going to need to feed the sulfur in. And I'm going to need to feed the oxygen in through here as well. So let's start with the oxygen. In fact, I'm just going to feed it directly. Maybe not to there, but directly otherwise. And all the way over here. There we go, and you're hooked up, so you've got oxygen. We're also going to need more purified water, if I remember that correctly, so let's just pull more this way. And let's just line those up. I'm going to need more stone pipe to ground, but that won't take just a minute, just to get a few more of them. And then let's decide what I do with that in a second. I need that second chemical plant. And some power. Sulfur. Sulfuric acid. So that's going to need to be two inputs. So I'm going to need to separate this out somewhat. Slightly annoying. Especially where I need to put the stuff in here. I have to take that back out again, and that's even more annoying. Okay, so I need to just remove that for a second. And well, let's just move everything up by one, shall we? And that should really sort this out. So let's move that up to here. This one to here. And then that should give us everything we need, I want to say. So sulfuric acid. That's the water. And we need the sulfur dioxide. And is that everything? I think so. Oops, no, that will pollute things if I do it that way. Interesting. We can do it the wasteful way, I guess. Or not. Let's actually just do it, yeah, let's just get rid of this for a second. And we can pop up here one earlier. And some more pipe. I'm getting sick of that train horn. But that's fine. So all that we then need to do is just grab this again. And just put one further. Just to make it, we're sure we can just use a default inserter rather than anything else. And let's put some power in. Running out of iron and steel. Otherwise, that's fine. Yeah, let's put it there. And there. Which should give us sulfuric acid in that direction, I think. We need sulfur dioxide. What did you need? Sulfur. There we go. And you deserve an upgrade in speed, certainly. Let's just change to a fast inserter. And that's running just fine. Which is then producing, or should be producing, sulfuric acid. Yep, there we go. And that's starting to build. So we're going to want to tank that somewhere, perhaps. Not sure what kind of tanks. I don't think I can build any at the moment. But the idea is that we can take that sulfuric acid. We can just pipe some of it straight over here anyway. And I'll do this off camera because you don't need to see this. I know it's a little bit dark. I just get some more lights in place. And I'm out of resources. But yeah, so I'll now just pipe that into these electric mining drills. That can work straight away for this ore. And for the Givelite, we can just combine it with the wastewater. Sorry, the ore that we're getting. Where's the ore going? Where's the ore going? Have I not removed it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, I ran out of belt, didn't I? So yeah, the ore's going to come over this way. I'll get more belt. Combine the two and we'll get hydrofluoric. And that will get pushed into these. I'll show it at the start of the next episode because we're running out of time now. And I just wanted to let you know we're now at the end of that. So we should be able to get infinite ores just fine. We may have to watch how much of this we're producing. And if we're not producing enough, then, well, we'll have to deal with that as well. Bulk up this setup. Easy to bulk up the water. Relatively easy to bulk up the flotation cells. Very easy to bulk up the electrolyzers and the Hydra Plants. The only thing that is a bit of a problem with this particular recipe is the Givelite itself. It's sort of feeding itself. We need to crush it and then reuse it to get more Givelite out. So that depends whether that's self-sustaining. If it's not, we can get the sulfuric acid from our other processes. But that's for another time. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to subscribe and share if you haven't already. Thumbs up, and once again, as always, thanks for watching.